This episode of Weekly Weird News is sponsored by Upstart and by HelloFresh.
If you're a foodie, or just an enjoyer of food, there's really never been a better time in all of history than right now for trying everything in the culinary world, just all that it has to offer. Living in any major city means having access to food from just about anywhere. But for some reason, it's just not enough for some people. When the obscure becomes the mainstream, they simply find something even more obscure. For example, a diet that's becoming increasingly popular is the all-meat diet, or the carnivore diet. But despite health experts saying that the carnivore diet is probably not great for you, it's become so popular that some have moved beyond the carnivore diet to the raw meat diet, which health experts are even more critical of because it's literally a diet consisting entirely of uncooked beef and lamb. Seems like a bad idea, but you're going to do what you're going to do.
Like, Neanderthals, cavemen cooked the meat.
Yeah, and look at how happy they were.
But they cooked it.
Well, sometimes they didn't. We don't know.
I guess I wasn't there, but I would assume that, once fire was created.
They had to have eaten something before they found fire. So we're going to go all the way back to that. It's what we should have been eating.
Look,
fire was a mistake.
This is what rocks about this is that, like with coronavirus, like assholes can infect other people. With this, if you want to be a piece of shit and just be like, nah, this is actually good for you, you're going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, okay, sure.
As long as they're not forcing their kids
to. You got toilet paper.
But if you're eating raw meat and nothing else still isn't extreme enough for you, what's next? And before you answer drinking piss, we've already covered that before. It's actually quite popular. We've also covered the all-beer diet, which apparently is great for weight loss.
For at least short periods of time.
Yeah. What's a diet that even your average piss-drinking, raw meat-eating weirdo would find a bit extreme? We got to dig deeper here. Well, you're probably not going to like the answer, and right now is where we tell you that if you're currently eating, specifically cooked products,
or anything,
hit the pause button and come back later. All right, we warned you. The answer is what's known as high meat, and its name comes from the fact that supposedly it gets you high. And how it supposedly does is by being old and rotten. Yep, people are eating old, rotten meat to get high.
I'm so sorry that we're talking about this. This is the worst thing I've learned about recently.
The same drugs they do? Jink them.
I mean, might as well.
Yeah.
At that point, This is just like, wait, you eat raw meat to get high? Weed is legal in like more than half the states in this country.
You gotta chase the dragon though. You gotta keep one-upping it.
Yeah. Anyway, the existence of this trend recently started getting attention on social media with people posting absolutely nauseating photos that they'd found online after going down a high meat rabbit hole. This Twitter interaction in particular exposed a lot of people to the concept. A friend convinced me to eat raw rotten meat, high meat, yesterday, and it actually felt great. Very interesting since everyone would think it's crazy. Someone else asks, did you get sick? And they reply, not at all. This is how it looked, by the way, along with a photo of some very rotten looking meat. Meat, a photo you can smell. There's going to be a lot of images in this episode that you can smell. But yeah, despite the recent attention, high meat has actually been around for a while. One of the earliest descriptions of high meat was in this 2010 New Yorker article titled Nature's Spoils, in which writer Burkhard Bilger describes hanging out with a bunch of raw food enthusiasts, some of whom have embraced high meat. Let's read from that section of the piece.
The primal diet has found a sizable following in recent years, particularly in Southern California and, for some reason, Chicago. Its founder, Agnes von der Planitz, a 63-year-old former soap opera actor and self-styled nutritionist, claims that it cured him of autism, angina, dyslexia, juvenile diabetes, multiple myeloma, and stomach cancer, as well as psoriasis, bursitis, osteoporosis, tooth decay, and mania created by excessive fruit. Von der Planitz recommends eating roughly 85% animal products by volume, supplemented by no more than one fruit a day and a pint or so of green drink, a puree of fruits and vegetables. Whole vegetable fibers, he believes, are largely indigestible. The diet's most potent component, though, is an occasional serving of what von der Planitz calls high meat.
Torma ducked into the back of the house and returned with a swing-top jar in his hands. Inside lay a piece of organic beef, badly spoiled. It was afloat in an ochre-colored puddle of its own decay, the muscle and slime indistinguishable, like a slug. High meat is the flesh of any animal that has been allowed to decompose. Torma keeps his portions sealed for up to several weeks before ingesting them, airing them out every few days. Like the bacteria in sauerkraut, those which cause botulism are anaerobic. Fermentation destroys them, but they sometimes survive in sealed meats. Botulus in Latin means sausage. Vonderplanet says he got high meat and its name from the Eskimos, who savor rotten caribou and seal. A regular serving of decayed heart or liver can have a tremendous Viagra effect on the elderly, Vonderplanet's told me recently.
Just look at my penis.
The first few bites, though, can be rough going. Quote, I still have some resistance to it, Torma admitted, but the health benefits. I'm 52 now. I started this when I was 42, and I feel like I'm in my 20s.
This is so gross. I hate this so much. But like, it's almost like, you know how like people want to get the dankest weed, and it's like people
to the point where it's just it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it like, you know, 10 years ago it was like, oh wow, this restaurant has truffle oil that they put on our fries, and now literally you can just go anywhere has truffle oil. It's like and it's like ruining everything because it's so dank. And it's like when you have it too much, you're like, oh, this isn't special anymore.
Or it's like people who are into spicy foods to the point where I'm just like, how are you even enjoying this? You just look like you're in pain every time you eat something.
But no, this is gross on a whole different level because it's actually disgusting. It's definitely bad for you. It smells like shit, I'm sure. And it looks gross. Everything is wrong about it. And no, it doesn't cure any of those things. This guy's a madman.
Anyway, the article continues.
Primal eating has its detractors. The Times of London recently dubbed it the silliest diet ever. Most of us find whole vegetables perfectly digestible. The notion that parasites and viruses are good for us would be news to most doctors. And even Vonderplanets and his followers admit that high meat sometimes leaves them ill and explosively incontinent. They call it detoxification.
Oh, God.
But this is just
my toxins. I'm so full of toxins.
Oh, look at all those toxins that got in my body. Yeah, because you put them in there. You put those toxins in, and then they came out. It's like the people who we've reported on before that like drink small amounts of bleach.
Oh yeah, then they just shit out like blood and shit, and they're like, yeah, those are the toxins. Good thing I got those out of there.
Yeah, the small amount of bleach went through my digestive tract and peeled away parts of it because it has that effect. And no, those are just toxins and bad particles. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you put bad things in you, and bad things are coming out.
I feel so cleansed. Continues, when Torma unclamped his jar, a sickly sweet miasma filled the air, an odor as natural as it was repellent. Decaying meat produces its own peculiar scent molecules, I later learned, with names like putrescine and cadaverine. I could still smell them on my clothes hours later. Torma stuck 2 fingers down the jar and fished out a long, wet sliver.
God.
Want a taste? He said. It was the end of a long day. I'd spent most of it consuming everything set before me. Ants, acorns, raw milk, dumpster stew, and 7 kinds of meat, among other delicacies. But even cats took a pass on the high meat. While Torma threw back his head and dropped in his portion like a seal swallowing a mackerel, we quietly took our leave. You have to trust your senses, Katz said as we were driving away. To me, that smelled like death. This Katz guy is another one who's just totally into all that other stuff, but he's like, no, draw the line at the...
Yeah, it's disgusting.
No.
This is just people that were one-upping each other with dumb shit, and now this guy's like backed into a corner where he's like, it's the guy that eats the disgusting meat. Watch, he'll do it if you tell him that you wanted to try some, but then you can back out, and he'll do it to show how cool he is. Like, there's no way this sucks. Also, like, this is another reason that, lab-based meat, like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods, good job. Because if we can replace real meat, these people won't exist. Like, fuck off. I mean, they can make the Impossible meat look like it's bleeding, but can they make it smell like it's rotting? No, sir.
Yeah.
No.
They say they've replicated, meat as close as possible, but when I leave this out in a jar for 6 months, it doesn't look like what it looks like when I leave this raw hamburger out in the sun.
Yeah. Well, hey, what are you throwing away that moldy bread for? That's got all the good taste all over it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was 11 years ago, that article. And since then, high meat has apparently become much more popular, though it's still obviously a very niche thing.
Is that guy still alive?
The Vonderplanets guy died, but...
Yeah, no shit.
But he died from falling off, like he was...
I was feeling too good.
He died in an accident. He did not die of eating the raw meat.
Tell them I died in an accident. Don't tell them that I died shitting on my guts on a toilet.
But yeah, if you go on YouTube and you search high meat, there are numerous examples of people happily documenting themselves eating old, disgusting meat that looks like it does in fact smell like death.
These people need to see fucking psychiatrists.
One of the most revolting examples is this guy who let a piece of steak just rot in a jar for 125 days, during which it became engulfed in maggots and covered in mold. The end result looks absolutely horrific, and the YouTuber ends up eats the whole goddamn thing. He does it in a parking garage off of a wooden board on the hood of his truck. I think at one point he says that he's doing this without his wife's knowledge, so I think that's why he's eating it in a parking lot. But yeah, he eats the whole thing, maggots and all, before washing it down with some cow's blood.
I hope his wife finds his YouTube channel and divorces him.
I would feel a lot of things if I found out my wife was eating
raw 125 days
rotten fucking moldy meat.
What's the difference between this and dry aging something? Jeez, guys, back off.
Yeah. Oh, so if I'm a butcher and I just leave the meat out, then that's fine. But if I do it at home with no training at all, and
there's maggots and mold
no
all over
sanitation, then it's a problem.
I mean, look, the high that you must get from this must really be worth it, like the jenkem we've all come to know and love. Except in the description for that video, he says, quote, "It was disgustingly good, but I did not get high." Oh, well, he should have left it in there for 300 days.
Yeah, I guess
Got to do better next time.
Have patience, sir. That meat wasn't ready yet.
Anyways, if a maggot-infested 4-month-old steak seems crazy to you, which it should, this guy here is eating what he says is chicken that's 1.5 years old. And again, nothing about it getting him high. He just likes it for the taste.
And the nutrients, the vitamins.
It's like when people post on like social media, like, yeah, nice medium rare chicken. And it's like, no, sir, that will kill you.
I mean, to be fair, all this stuff with foodborne illness, you were rolling the dice every time.
Yeah.
Like eating raw chicken isn't necessarily going to get you sick, but there's a good enough chance that it will, that the government and anyone who understands like food science highly recommends that you cook that shit to a temperature that will kill any of the bacteria that has a decent chance of being on it.
You know what's funny?
But you might get lucky, and then if you do, you can go on YouTube and be like, actually, I did it. It's fine. They've been lying to us.
That's the thing is with these people specifically.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I'm talking about you people. I would not be surprised because I view now the COVID people all across the spectrum as like a litmus test for people. But the raw meat disgusting people, it could go either way. I could see them being anti-maskers, or I could see them being the people that literally like leave their groceries in the garage and like spray them down and have masks and like suits and all that stuff.
I feel like anyone doing this shit has done their own research on just about everything else.
Yeah, you're probably right. In any case, we should point out that raw, cured, or fermented meat isn't inherently bad, like Elliot says. The sushi and salami and steak tartare, they are prime examples. People all over the world eat fermented fish.
It smells disgusting, though.
Yeah. It's just not really something your average person should be experimenting with on their own after watching a couple YouTube videos. And yes, there's a difference between curing something, dry aging something, and letting something rot in a jar.
Yes. Like, I mean, so if the argument is that like we've somehow lost touch with what our ancestors used to do, and like this is the right thing. I mean, like leave out some fucking rancid meat. Nothing's touching that except for the maggots. You're not gonna get like stray animals or whatever eating that shit. They know instinctively to stay the hell away from it because it will get them sick.
Yes. Also, like with sushi, it has to be prepared properly. You can't just like pull out a fish. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to eat this raw.
It has to be prepared properly. It has to be certified and like a certain level of freshness. Yeah, they're... I
don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. I'm not.
Anyways, even among the small collection of YouTube videos featuring high meat, the actual methods for like supposedly doing this in a safe, controlled way are very inconsistent. So that first guy with the maggots, he just he left it out there and let nature do its thing. But this person here gives somewhat detailed instructions about leaving the meat in a jar, unrefrigerated in the dark for 4 months, and then you air it out at certain intervals after that. They insist that you should not air it out indoors due to the intense smell.
Well, that's the point.
Why does it smell bad?
Yeah, you want the dank smell.
They also provide other valuable information like nutritional facts. Depends on the kind of meat you use. Thanks.
Yeah.
And also this description of the taste It tastes a little bit like cheese, but also sour and rotten, and the consistency is slimy and a little bit sticky, but also very soft. Yum. Sounds great. You're gonna live forever.
I mean, yeah, there's some cheese out
Who's gonna
there
be laughing
that
then?
are like, you know, people would turn their noses up at. That
There's some pretty fucking weird, there's a cheese in Italy that has live maggots in it. That's supposedly a delicacy, but
you know what?
pass.
I'll leave that one to the rich people out there.
Yeah.
They can have it.
But yeah, there's some nasty cheeses. I mean, it is cheese making is a kind of gross process, and it can go to extremes that most of us would find nauseating.
I think blue cheese is like the dankest, weirdest looking cheese.
Yeah,
I'd
blue
fuck with.
blue cheese, yeah.
And I'm not talking about it's coming out of the bottle. I'm talking about the actual cheese.
cheese that has, you know, it's supposed to have a little bit of mold on it. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, as for the supposed high, here's something from Vice. Naris Lapsus, a Singapore-based consultant dietitian, suggested that the high could come from a whole range of bacteria thriving in raw meat. If you're leaving this out for anything from days to months to years, who knows what kinds of bacteria are going to grow? And some of those bacteria might have chemical properties that are going to give you a high or hallucination or a feeling of euphoria, he told Vice. According to Lapsus, consuming rotten meat is really a lucky dip as to whether the bacteria in the meat is going to get you high or give you serious stomach conditions like food poisoning or worse.
Yeah, you're flipping a coin.
Russian roulette.
It continues. Letting meat spoil or rot is a completely uncontrolled process, so you just don't know what kinds of bacteria could be growing on the meat. There's all sorts of bacteria. Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli, all these things that our human body might really struggle with breaking down, he said. If we're eating rotten foods, the question is, will our stomach acid do a good enough job to stop them from poisoning us? And the answer is often no. Lapsus noted that while some food poisoning may just cause you to feel very unwell, serious cases may involve uncontrolled bowel movements, vomiting and dehydration, and damage to your large intestines. He also warned it could lead to rare and potentially fatal health conditions like botulism, which could cause blurred vision, tiredness, and trouble speaking.
Wow, that guy is really high over there.
I am so fucking baked right now.
I can't even talk or see.
Yeah.
Anyways, listen, we're not health experts, but we're going to go ahead and recommend not doing anything like this.
No.
Now, for one thing, it's just gross, okay? Look,
It's fucking disgusting.
I try not to be judgmental, but you got to draw the line somewhere. I'm judging you. Secondly, it has a chance of getting you seriously ill or even killing you. Humankind has spent the last several thousand years figuring out how not to get killed by food, and dying from consuming spoiled food would be a very shameful way to go in the year 2021.
Everyone's gonna fucking laugh at your dumbass.
I feel like we're at some weird tipping point where, like, we've solved so many problems throughout the evolution of humanity that now people are testing that.
Yeah.
Like the anti-vax people. It's like
Yep.
literally medical breakthroughs,
Yep.
scientific feats. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to raw dog it instead.
Yeah. No, I don't trust this vaccine, but I did see a guy on YouTube who said that drinking his own piss made him live forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go outside and take off my pants and just sun my butthole for about 10 minutes to absorb the sun's energy into my butthole battery. And I think I'll be good then.
Yeah.
Maybe check on my my rotting meat while I'm out there.
And like for a lot of, like, I mean, sunning your butthole and I guess for the most part, probably drinking your piss, probably not going to kill you or, suffer too badly from it.
Yeah.
It's like this, it's like a placebo effect. Good for you. You know?
This seems
Like
actually
the
dangerous.
eating raw meat, the aged raw meat is not good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess these people have gotten lucky. Just seems like something that could go horribly, horribly wrong. But hey.
I feel like shit. That means it's working.
Yeah, that's the toxins.
Yeah. Moving on now, though, speaking of ill-advised things, pranks.
Don't do them.
There's, of course, plenty of examples of pranks that aren't just pure cruelty disguised as a joke, but these days it feels like they're increasingly rare. And you know why? It's because they actually take work and planning and good writing and a lot of things to pull them off. And they're not just cheap tricks where you're making people feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
It also seems to be an international problem. Apparently over in the Middle East and North Africa, prank TV shows are quite popular, and they take things to extremes beyond even the typical garbage that you see here on YouTube. Here's a BBC article from a few years back.
Egyptian actor Ramez Galal has established himself as a major TV prankster with a series of programs featuring celebrities in increasingly extreme scenarios. In one edition, he fooled celebrities into believing they were on a sinking ship surrounded by floating body parts and an approaching shark.
That's pretty funny.
In another, victims were locked inside a supposed ancient Egyptian tomb containing bats, insects, and a mummy rising from the dead. In 2013, doing a program entitled Ramez, the Fox of the Desert, guest celebrities were fooled into believing the bus they were traveling on had been intercepted by militants. The mock militants pretended to shoot the driver dead and then blindfolded and handcuffed the guests. This was aired at a time when Egypt was witnessing a surge in terror attacks, particularly in the region of Sinai, where military convoys were often attacked by armed bandits in desolate areas.
Real shame.
Gotcha.
This show is not online anymore because Live Leak shut down.
I know.
Yeah, so it was basically like if an American prank show tricked people into thinking they're in the middle of a mass shooting. It's a bad prank.
Yeah.
I would dare I say not even call it a prank at all.
No, it's just sort of
horrific
abuse.
Yeah.
Emotional abuse.
Mental abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But despite the controversy, these shows, they've remained popular in the Middle East. Recently, though, the Iraqi government finally stepped in and canceled one of its country's more popular and controversial terror prank shows, Tanab Raslan, from the AP.
The show, a form of reality TV, follows Iraqi celebrity guests, including actresses and soccer players, who are invited to what is described as a charity event, but then fall prey under various scenarios to a staged ambush by actors playing militants. They are later freed by other actors playing Iraqi security forces. The ambush reenactments include fake weapons and stunt explosions, while the militants threaten to detonate fake suicide vests. The show's name, Tanab Raslan, refers to the name of its presenter, Raslan Haddad, in a popular Iraqi game that children play with marbles, in which a score is called Tanab. Hidden cameras film everything, and the fear that grips the show's guests is real. The show has raised ethics concerns and provoked outrage from angry viewers who said its content was highly offensive.
Oh, you think? Imagine, though, like, you're watching this, you're like a soccer player or whatever, and then, like, you actually do get kidnapped by militants. And
Okay.
Yeah, real funny, guys.
Where's the camera?
Hey, yeah, these guys are losers. It's just mocking them the entire time. Like, we can't kill him. He's too badass.
You got me.
He's not scared of us. Yeah. What do we do?
How do we inspire fear?
Here's some more from that article, though. In one of the most controversial episodes, cameras follow Iraqi actress Nezma Tanib as she is taken to a rural area outside Baghdad under the pretext of meeting a family liberated from IS rule. Along the way, she is told at a mock checkpoint that the area they're about to enter is unsafe and was under attack by IS militants just 3 hours earlier. Tanib is visibly concerned and asks to turn back, but is ignored. Once she is brought inside a house, an explosion is heard, and actors playing militants storm the building. Tanib, who at this point is blindfolded, cries out, screams, and eventually faints as actors playing Iraqi soldiers burst onto the scene and liberate her.
Like actual explosions and like gunshot sounds and shit. People with guns? I don't know.
Eric Andre would never.
I mean, did you see his new movie?
No, because I don't like pranks anymore. I'm too like...
his new movie's great. It's very funny.
I don't believe in the whole astrology thing, but like I'm a Cancer, so I have a lot of empathy, and I cringe at moments like that. I can't watch them.
Well, his new movie is more about just giving other people the opportunity to be heroes. There's like multiple characters that pop out who like you're like, wow, good job.
That's why it took me forever to get through like Nathan For You and that new one on HBO Max, How To.
How To with John Wilson.
Like I have to watch an episode like a week at most.
I love it. I live off that kind of cringe.
Yeah.
But yeah, terror attack prank. It's a prank. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
You thought you were about to be murdered by terrorists, but just a goof. Gotcha. Camera over here, camera over there.
Don't you feel better now?
This is going on TV.
It's like eating raw meat. The high you feel after almost dying, it feels really good.
New lease on life.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's horrible, but at least it is somewhat comforting that unfunny pranks intended to simply terrorize people is not just an American thing. It is a human thing. But speaking of American pranks, though, remember when hundreds of people stormed the United States Capitol on January 6th as a goof?
Yeah. There's a big, there was cameras there, there was cameras there. Everyone had cameras.
Gotcha.
They were all caught on tape.
Mike Pence, you thought we were going to hang you? You should see your face.
Candid camera.
4 months later, more than 440 people have been charged with crimes, and the arrests keep on trickling in. Let's take a look at some of the more recent arrests.
First up, we've got Anthony Antonio, who is accused of climbing scaffolding to enter the Capitol through a broken window, stealing a riot shield and gas mask, threatening police, and squirting water at a cop who was dragged away and beaten by other rioters. Pictures and videos of him at the riot make this appear to be a pretty clear-cut case, but Antonio's lawyers have quite the defense. From Huffington Post.
Anthony Antonia's attorney told a D.C. magistrate judge that after Antonia was laid off because of the coronavirus pandemic last year, he spent all his time living in a home with 4 other individuals who watched a lot of Fox News. Quote, "For the next approximate 6 months, Fox television played constantly," lawyer Joseph Hurley said. "He became hooked with what I call Foxitis, or Fox mania, and became interested in the political aspect and started believing what was being fed to him."
Literally, Fox News made me do it. Yeah, it's a bold strategy, so we'll have to see if it pays off, especially since Fox News has successfully argued in court before that anyone who takes their content seriously is basically stupid. Anyways, another accused Capitol rioter who was in that same court hearing and tried a very different approach is Landon Kenneth Copeland, who is either going for some sort of insanity defense or just actually insane. From the Daily Beast.
A Utah man accused of assaulting police officers during the Capitol riots invited several of his MAGA friends to his Thursday court appearance, then wreaked havoc during the hearing, repeatedly screaming at the judge and court officials. "You people fucked this up!" Landon Kenneth Copeland ranted during the Zoom hearing on Thursday. "You're gonna give me a psych eval. I don't like 70% of my income going to the government. Fuck all of you." During his Thursday hearing, Copeland was joined by some of his Trump-supporting friends, and at one point, his mother, Magistrate Judge Robin Merriweather, ended up kicking out one of his friends after they chose an expletive as their Zoom username.
This is
You can call me fuck.
Doubly hilarious that they're logging on to the court appearance to do this. It'd be different if they showed up at the actual court and was like, "I'm gonna go buck wild, shit myself," and like just blah blah blah.
You gotta try even harder on.
And then my friends are gonna scream, and it's like, yeah, I mean, the judge literally just goes bloom and like.
You're muted.
Gets him out of there.
Yeah.
The chaos began even before Copeland's hearing as he shouted while other accused rioters made their appearances before the judge, forcing court officials to put him on mute. At one point, he tried to object to another defense lawyer claiming his client had Foxitis after watching 6 months of Fox News during the pandemic. The second he was taken off mute, Copeland began to scream, "I'm going to tell the truth. I don't like you people. You're a robot to me. You can't come get me if I don't want you to. Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you," he shouted during his tirade, at which point a judge put him in a separate Zoom room so that he could no longer interrupt the proceeding. "I want to talk in open court, you motherfuckers."
Yeah, in a courtroom, yeah, this would be a big disruption. They'd have to get the bailiff, but Zoom court, baby. Boop, boop. Anyway, what were we saying? This week also saw news about another accused Capitol rioter being caught due to, once again, simply not knowing how to shut the fuck up. Just because the person you're bragging to about breaking into the Capitol isn't going to rat you out, and maybe even the person they tell about it also isn't going to rat you out, doesn't mean the next person in the gossip chain isn't going to rat you out. And that's what happened to Robert Lee Petrosh of New Jersey, who was taken down by what various news outlets have referred to as grandma gossip. He told his mom that he was there. She told one of her fellow old lady friends about it, perhaps over a game of bridge. And that old lady told her grandson about it. The grandson immediately reported that shit to the FBI.
Narc. That grandson.
"Come on. I thought being a snitch was looked down upon by your generation.
My stupid grandson turned into Mabel's friend and also wants me to get stuck with that poison.
No one at the home will play bridge with me anymore now that my grandson ratted out."
I'm all alone. You've isolated me. But speaking of election-related crimes, we have a brief Jacob Wohl update for you.
He's back.
Yeah, it's certainly been very quiet on the whole Jacob Wohl front for these past few months. But the latest is that in addition to the charges he and Jack Berkman are facing in Michigan and Ohio over some very deceptive robocalls meant to discourage black people from voting by mail, they are now facing charges from the Attorney General of the state of New York over similar robocalls there.
So if you need a recap on exactly what those robocalls said, well, here's the transcription. "Hi, this is Tamika Taylor from Project 1599, the civil rights organization founded by Jack Berkman and Jacob Wohl. Mail-in voting sounds great, but did you know that if you vote by mail, your personal information will be part of a public database that will be used by police departments to track down old warrants and be used by credit card companies to collect outstanding debts? The CDC is even pushing to use records for mail-in voting to track people for mandatory vaccines. Don't be finessed into giving your private information to the man. Stay home safe and beware of vote by mail."
Yeah. And then the
biggest mistake was probably putting their names.
Yeah. Well, this sounds reputable. New York Attorney General Letitia James alleges in her lawsuit that Wohl and Berkman committed 6 violations under state and federal laws, including the New York Civil Rights Law, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871,
Ooh.
and the Civil Rights Act of 1957. So yeah, it seems pretty serious.
Doesn't it sound like pretty serious
Yeah.
laws? Yeah.
These guys are under an absolute mountain of legal scrutiny right now, and even worse, nobody seems to even give a shit about them anymore.
Sad.
They recently announced an upcoming Project 1599 press conference claiming to have damning evidence about Matt Gaetz and Rudy Giuliani hiring underage prostitutes. They wouldn't have to dig too deep to get any kind of
They're
salacious
just jumping
information.
on the trends now. They used to come up with original shit. Now they're just like, yeah, Matt Gaetz? Yeah, we got all the dirt on
We
that.
were actually on the ground floor of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, nobody cares. Even journalists who previously humored Wohl and Berkman's press conferences haven't even bothered covering them. On Telegram, one of the few remaining platforms they aren't banned on, the Project 1599 account posted details about this next press conference, and it had less than 100 subscribers. So, very sad.
Yeah, it's the shtick. It's really winding down. This guy was a fucking star 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He also, Jacob Wohl, he announced to no one. He's just like, by the way, I'm now available for interviews. And people are like, wait, you weren't before? And he's like, no, I've long had a policy where I only agree to interviews between March 15th and June 15th, and the rest of the year I focus on my business dealings.
And
So,
it's May now, and no one's hit me up,
yeah.
so just letting everyone
Just
know
letting
again.
everyone know if you want to hear from Jacob. People always send me this shit. They're like, oh, you guys should interview him. No, absolutely not.
No.
He lives off this shit. It's like mold and maggots on your piece of meat. They live because they have something to feed on.
Yeah.
You take away their food source and they die.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jacob Wohl, he lives off attention.
Yes.
So there you go.
Now, before we get into the headlines part of this show, this episode is sponsored by Upstart. When it comes to paying off debt, it can often feel like an uphill battle. High interest rates resulting in minimum monthly payments keeps you in an endless cycle of debt. Upstart can help you get ahead. Upstart is a fast and easy way to pay off debt with a personal loan all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple, fixed monthly payment.
Unlike other lenders, Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, like your income and employment history. This means they can offer smarter rates with trusted partners. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan.
Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/weird. That is upstart.com/weird. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Head to upstart.com/weird.
And this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh.
Thank God.
With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering, actual delicious, tasty, ready to cook, seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh is a great value. It's 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store and 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal without sacrificing the quality.
HelloFresh offers 25 plus recipes to choose from each week, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers and extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with all recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Just look at all these upcoming recipes. You got pulled pork sandwiches, shrimp tacos, ramen, shepherd's pie, and so much more.
We're big fans of HelloFresh. It's the best way that we've found for improving skills in the kitchen and cooking recipes you never even think to try. Great food. It tastes even better when you've cooked it yourself. Trust me on this. So go to HelloFresh.com/weeklyweird12 and use code weeklyweird12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Again, that is 12 free meals with free shipping by going to HelloFresh.com/weeklyweird12 and using code weeklyweird12.
All right, now it's time for the weirdest headlines from around the world this week, starting with snout clout. Larger noses equal larger penises, according to study.
Yeah, you laughed at my big nose. Well, who's laughing now?
Yeah.
No, I think I have a small nose. Fuck.
Now in the character selection screen, they're going to have to censor big noses.
Yeah. I don't know how accurate this really is. I need more data, but it is.
They just ask people. They're like, hey, how big's your dick? And they're like, well, gigantic. Thank you for asking.
It's even worse than that. They went down to the morgue. Just with the calipers measuring all sorts of stuff, and they found some sort of correlation between larger noses and they would, you're dead. You can't get a boner. So they would just stretch. They would stretch out the flaccid dick to the point where
No, you got
get some resistance.
the small noses. They are growers, not showers. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
Also, you got to measure from the butthole, not the balls.
Hey, wait.
Hey, wait. You wake up from the dead because...
Hold on.
No, my dick's not small. The only thing that can wake the dead.
You're measuring it all wrong. Speaking of studies that I'm skeptical of at best, but sure, it seems legit.
Yeah.
Men who wear Ralph Lauren polo shirts are more likely to cheat.
Uh-oh.
I believe
Especially if they wear two.
Yeah.
The double pop
the
collar.
more polos, the more infidelity.
Yeah.
It also says that the bigger the logo, the more likely they're going to be a absentee father, stuff like that.
They do have some big logos.
You can get one. It's like half the shirt, just a giant logo. We get it.
And look, I've never even seen someone wearing a Ralph Lauren polo shirt play polo.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anyone play polo wearing any shirts.
They wear those like long sleeve. They look like they have like their own attire. There's not polo shirts.
Yeah.
The polo shirts are the people drinking the mint juleps, watching people play.
Yes, polo.
I love it. Yes. I think I'll buy my daughter one of those horses.
Yes. Horses.
I'll give it at a discount before they shoot it in the head for performing poorly.
Yeah.
Ladies, check the wardrobe. Also check the wardrobe for, what's that brand that was tied to the alt-right?
Oh, well.
With the gold and
Steve
black?
Perry? Or
Yeah.
that guy at least went out of his way.
Fred Perry?
Fred Perry. I don't know. They discontinued the Proud Boys shirt. They're just like, we don't want any fucking association with this.
Yeah.
So it's specifically just the one that's like black with a gold collar.
Ladies, if he's got a Fred Perry, I guess it is, and a Burger King crown, he's not your husband. He's racist.
He's probably a racist.
New Jersey to give free beer to COVID vaccine recipients. See, this is why I think people are holding out.
Yeah.
Because
make me an offer.
This isn't the first state or local municipality that has offered gifts or otherwise in order to get people to get vaccines.
Yeah.
And people knew this were coming because, especially in Southern California, when the vaccines were originally going to first responders and the elderly, like the fire department, it was like 60% of the fire department was like, we're not going to get it. And they were like, well, we'll give you an iPad if you get it. And it's like, you see, that's the problem.
I mean, that's just classic negotiation.
Yeah.
I wish people would just get the vaccine, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like, the gift to me, it was getting back to normal.
Yeah.
Having
not having
a
to
life
fucking
again.
worry about a disease.
Yeah.
But
the free beer, I'm sure, is nice.
Yeah. I mean, this is and it's the governor of New Jersey made this deal. It's all local craft breweries. They're footing the bill. It's more just like, it's one of those things,
You get them in the door, you get them
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No one's going to a brewery and just drinking one.
Yeah. Plus, it's an incentive to have your brewery or bar filled with vaccinated people because you're like, people are going to want to show up and do their vaccine cards like Krispy Kreme. Yeah. Safest place in the world. Giving out free donuts for vaccinated people.
I've been eating a Krispy Kreme donut every day for the last month and I feel great.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I haven't. But there's probably a lot of people who have. And you know what? That's their right.
I had the plan to go show my card and get the donut. I just haven't. The line is too long, especially when they have the light on.
And I don't think they're very good donuts.
I think they're delicious donuts, especially when they do seasonal based on holidays. Oh my God.
I don't know.
2 weeks on the treadmill to get rid of some donuts for Christmas.
If I'm eating donuts, I'm going to a place run by a Vietnamese family.
It has to come in a pink box.
Pink box. They've had the same faded photographs of their menu items up on the wall for 40 years.
Just completely sunburnt. You can't even know what it is.
Yeah, those are the places that have the good donuts.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme. Fuck out of here. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, they're all it's just sugar cake.
But they're so good when they're warm. They're so good.
If they're right out of the fucking vat, then they're good. But
that's
after
why,
that, no.
In the before times, you go into Krispy Kreme, you get to watch the whole conveyor belt process.
It is cool watching that happen.
Yeah, it's like you're sitting there watching Modern Marvels or how it's made in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on, though. A man was hospitalized after the porta-potty he was using at the historic Gettysburg battlefield was crushed by a tree. What a way. What a way to almost go.
Yeah. I mean, I bet while he was trapped in that porta potty with his own doo-doo, he felt a lot of the same fears that those young men at Gettysburg felt 100 and whatever, 165 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And if it weren't for modern medicine,
Yeah.
he would have perished.
They would have, sorry, get him out like, all right, we're going to have to cut your leg off. What?
You got poop on it.
Gettysburg. Yeah.
You got poop on your
You
leg.
got poop on your leg. It's nasty.
Yeah.
Or it could have been a ghost. I hear it's very haunted there.
Yeah. I've never been, actually. I've driven by it.
I didn't realize how far north it was.
Yeah.
It's all the way up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. There you go.
I just figured it was in the south.
All the battles were in the South, right? Sure.
Guess
I
not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Venezuela's Maduro received samurai sword gift from actor Steven Seagal. And the photos are so fucking fun. Steven Seagal looks so weird now.
Yeah.
Especially if you...
Is he still living in Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did this as like a delegate from Russia to Venezuela. He showed up wearing his ridiculous, like, that outfit he wears. I don't even know what you call it. It's like, it's this sort of weeb thing. Feels like.
Yeah, it's like,
Big black, sort of like vaguely Asian suit. And he is very large now.
It's like a moo-moo, but he is like but I know Kung Fu.
He's fat and weird. He's got like sort of Chris Christie body where it's like.
He looks like he's about to pop.
Yeah, but it's like Chris Christie, like his face is a little bit fat, but his torso is just like absolute unit status. And,
Look. He's led a weird life. I owe him for when I was a kid, that movie on the boat with the naked lady
Under
in the cake.
Siege. Yeah.
That was one of the first boobs. Definitely like Blockbuster. I guarantee you, like if that video VHS, if you rented it from Blockbuster, like
Just
that part,
all torn
the
up.
tracking
Yeah.
is all wrong because everyone's just rewinding that part. She comes out, boom.
Yeah, there they are.
There they are.
There they are.
That and Leprechaun 2. You got Leprechaun 2. The Leprechaun tricks one of the teenagers into thinking that these two lawnmower blades are a girl's boobs. And
Yeah.
I'll get you.
Clever.
Yeah, that Leprechaun.
Anyways, next headline. Japanese town spent COVID-19 relief funds on building a statue of a giant squid. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Look at
Salute
it.
the squid.
It's a big fucking squid.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Our COVID numbers are low. We're going to spend the money on something that can cure a disease known as sadness. It's a
exactly.
Big fucking squid.
That's the thing is like, okay, COVID-19 relief. What is the worst thing that COVID could cause? Death. Sure.
Yeah.
Second thing, long form illness. Okay, whatever. Third thing, it was depressing people because they had to stay inside all the time. So let's go with the easy option and just build a giant squid that people can visit.
Yeah. It sounds like this town had their shit together otherwise. And it's like, what are they supposed to do? Give the money back? I mean, I guess technically.
No.
But, they put that money to use, building a gigantic statue of a squid that anyone can look at.
Look, now
There it is.
they're going to bounce back because tourism is going to be on the rise. So people
There
can
it
come
is.
see the giant squid.
The big squid.
I cannot wait. One of my goals in the near future is to go back to Japan, and I haven't smoked in over a year now. Go back to Japan and just chain smoke and play the coin games. It's the most fun you'll ever have.
But
you don't even win anything.
Yeah.
It's just sounds and noises, and it feels good.
Yeah.
And everyone just chain smokes. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the best. And they got those. They banned menthols here apparently, right?
They're going to.
Yeah. Japan has these menthols that are like, they start as menthols and they have the ball in them.
Oh, yeah.
So you turn on like turbo menthol.
Yeah, it's like a just getting shot in the face with ice.
Yeah.
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 Can't
Don't
get that
smoke
here.
though.
Can't get that here. Gotta go to Japan.
I know. Duck Dynasty star Phil Robertson says, problem with America is we don't cook rice anymore.
We used to cook rice in this country. Now nobody's cooking rice.
We
we let the Chinese overtake us on everything, including rice.
Rice is a great, quick meal, and you can it's very versatile.
It's a staple food.
You cook up some chicken, cook up some rice, put it together, a little soy sauce on top. It's great.
Yeah, I'm glad he's saying that the problem with America is no rice, as opposed to more classic Phil Robertson stuff. Like the problem with America is the homosexual agenda.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the gays are somehow at fault for the fact that we don't cook rice in this country anymore. But he didn't elaborate on it.
Love rice. Straight white rice.
Beautiful white rice.
You got an Instant Pot?
I don't have an Instant Pot. I have a slow cooker, though.
Yeah. They're great. Just boop, rice, ready to go.
I mean, I have a little rice cooker.
Yeah.
It takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Eat more rice.
Rice is great. It's very cheap.
I agree with Phil Robertson.
Yeah, me. Yeah, he's not wrong. America needs to eat more rice.
I believe so. And it's cheap. It's super cheap.
It's very cheap.
Go down and get a whole bag of it.
You can live off rice for a while. I lived off rice-a-roni in college
Yeah.
quite a bit. Just carbs and nothing else.
You know, hamburger helper, you don't even need hamburger.
Yeah.
It's a meal on its own.
Just helper.
Moving on.
Milton man says guns saved his life during house fire.
Okay, how?
Well, all of his ammunition got too hot and started going off. So he's like, who's shooting? And then he's like, oh, the house is on fire.
Oh, okay.
So
I think he probably would have gotten up eventually with the whole heat problem.
I don't know. This man probably would have died if not for guns. If Obama had taken away this man's guns, he would have died in that fire.
I feel like this is like a thing that he came up with after he was out anyway. Because like he probably had to explain why there were so many like guns and like unloaded ammunition and stuff like that. He's just like, actually, blessing in disguise, because if that ammunition hadn't gone off, because I stored it improperly.
Every American needs to have at least one gun in every room of their house.
It's like a smoke detector.
Yeah, it's a smoke detector.
You could also have a smoke detector, but
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
but they're not as loud as gunshots.
As I've learned from watching TikTok videos, nobody has a battery in their smoke detector. It is constantly beeping in the background.
Because they're all pieces of shit. Like, I had to take the one out of my main open floor plan house because I literally cannot cook without setting that thing off. And
I have to unplug it every time.
It drives my dogs insane. Yeah, I used to do that for a while, but it reached a point where I'm just like, look, I got smoke detectors in every other room of the house. Like, I'll take my fucking chances out here.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I literally just like the second, like I can't even cook a single piece of bacon without this thing going off like within 2 minutes. It's insane.
Yeah.
And there's no way to fucking like calibrate it or anything.
Get better smoke alarms or else we're all buying guns.
This feels like something that the tech world should be able to disrupt in a way. Because this is a pretty universal problem, is these fucking smoke alarms. They're either too sensitive or they run out of batteries and
they're always chirping.
They're chirping. You can't find them.
It wouldn't go off if you cook bacon. Ammunition. So maybe this guy's onto something.
Yeah, no false positives with just keeping ammunition.
It's on you, smoke detector companies.
Yeah,
blood is on your hands.
Build a smoke detector that's just a magazine from a handgun.
Yeah.
You can just tape it to yourself.
It just spins around, shooting bullets. Wake up! Minnesota woman accused of racing SUV through Fargo Cemetery during ex-boyfriend's burial.
I just came to make sure the bitch is dead.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, it's. I would be pretty upset, but
he died doing what he loved, being tormented by his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right, bitch. She says that she's like, look, I wasn't invited. They told me very clearly not to show up, but I did. And then they were walking towards my car, probably. I don't know what they were gonna do, so I got scared and I started driving. And just driving over gravestones and shit, just causing a scene.
Probably driving her nuts that no reaction from the dead boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just gonna sit there dead?
Yeah, well,
I hope she finds the help that she needs.
Real trashy behavior.
I hope she finds the help she needs.
And final headline, Arizona election auditors check ballots for bamboo fibers after conspiracy theorists claim 40,000 votes were flown in from Asia. This Arizona thing is almost certainly, they're at the end, they're gonna be like, yeah, we found evidence of voter fraud. Actually, Donald Trump won.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a bunch of fucking weirdos.
It's not based in reality.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of, like, they're doing shit like this. They're like, we got a special camera that can detect bamboo fibers. And if we detect bamboo, the only place we can get bamboo, China.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would confirm a theory we've had about the ballots coming from China. Now, why would they come from, if you're faking an election, why would you need to order fake ballots from across the world when you
turns out they were cheaper, just like everything else.
Yep.
Just
how Biden wants it.
Fucking, I know that they're a very outspoken family, but it's mostly the daughter. But Cindy McCain has to keep coming out and being like, please, let's get over this. Guys, you're making the state look terrible. A state that my husband loved and represented for like 40 years. He gave his life for you people. Twice. He got tortured. And then he fucking served in the government, despite what you like about his politics or hate about his politics, whatever. Like, she's just out there being like, please, for the love of God, can we stop?
No, so many of these people they're going to go to their grave thinking that Donald Trump is actually the president.
Well, anyways, that's it for this week's episode of Weekly Weird News. You can start eating again, just not raw meat.
I think my appetite's kind of ruined for the next couple days.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting a nice meal after we filmed tonight, but I guess I'll just go home and fuck off instead.
Yeah.
Anyways, check out our most recent episodes over here. One of the most infamous shock sites on the internet is now no more. Check out the downfall of that over here. And then we also have a new episode of Tech News Day. So check both of those out, and we'll see you soon for some more videos as always.
Bye.
Bye.